Hello, and welcome to my blog, optimisticbrain.com. My name is John Windisman, and today I want to talk to you about mindfulness and meditation. There's a lot of chatter about mindfulness these days. Time magazine did a cover story, 60 Minutes did a piece on mindfulness, and yet there's still confusion out there in terms of what it is and what really can it do for the average person. Mindfulness is a way of living our lives moment by moment. We pay attention to what is happening around us and within us. What is my mind doing? What am I experiencing in my body? What emotions am I feeling? Am I reliving a past experience? Or am I worrying about some future event? What am I focused on in this very moment? You might be thinking, okay, so I try to pay attention to what's happening. So what? Why do I need to be more mindful? Well, according to researchers Killingsworth and Gilbert from Harvard University, our mind wanders 46.9% of the time. This is a huge amount. When our mind wanders, it is focused not on the present moment, but is focused either on the past or on the future. More precisely, it's focused on the stories about what happened in the past, or the stories about what may happen in the future. Our stories are the reasons why we feel the way that we do. Positive stories motivate us, and negative stories hinder us. Noticing when we get caught up in our stories allows us the opportunity to choose to bring our attention back to the present moment, and to focus on something maybe less negative. Now, keep in mind that our mind will always wander off, and you will never ever prevent it from doing so. That's the job of our mind. It always assesses our surroundings, makes judgments, scans for dangers, compares past events to present events, makes note of something that pleases us, and makes note of something when it doesn't. In fact, being more mindful allows us to be more informed with our choices. We can then choose to act differently. Instead of automatically reacting, we can choose actions with some thought and insight. Informed actions allow us to act more wholesomely, and thus we start living a more informed and directed life. In other words, we start living the life we want to live instead of getting caught up in the flow of circumstances. So here is my definition of mindfulness. Mindfulness is experiencing life on purpose through thoughts, images, inner dialogue, and emotions and body sensations, with a moment-by-moment conscious awareness in a non-judgmental manner. What do I mean by non-judgmental? Well, non-judgmental does not mean that you have to go around and love everything and everyone. That simply won't happen. You are allowed to have an opinion about things. For example, I hate mushrooms. I'm allowed to hate mushrooms. It's my opinion. That's all that it is. I'm still okay, and I'm not a bad person because I hate mushrooms. So, as we go around our day-to-day and we're experiencing life in a moment-by-moment basis, we have to remember that we are just doing that. We are experiencing life. These experiences may be wanted or unwanted. Maybe we act in a manner or acted in a manner that was not productive or appropriate or wholesome. Or maybe someone else acted in that kind of manner. In any event, none of our experiences define who we are. When we stop judging ourselves because of an experience that we're having or an experience that we had, we then take a step back and perhaps we can learn from it. Perhaps the next time we can choose a different approach. It is our judgments that trap us in our stories. Non-judgment, therefore, frees us. That is why experiencing life non-judgmentally is so important. So, mindfulness is all about being aware of what's going on within us and around us. And mindfulness is also about being aware of our experiences non-judgmentally. So what? Remember earlier I referred to a study indicating that 46.9% of the time our mind wanders off? Well, being aware of this wandering allows us to do something about it. As I said before, whenever our mind wanders, its focus is always away from the present moment. Therefore, if our mind is not in the present moment, it must be in the past or in the future. So, when we relive a past experience, we usually relive and replay something unpleasant. We beat ourselves up for what we did wrong or did not do. We go over negative conversations we had with others, reliving them, re-arguing them, re-saying our words in a way that we really wanted to do them. We judge ourselves for what happened. We blame a negative outcome on ourselves. Reliving the past by replaying these negative stories causes us to feel bad. So, when you notice we are reliving the past, we can choose to guide our attention back to the present moment. This refocusing on the present moment shifts our attention away from these negative stories. This, in turn, causes a shift in how we feel, and we start to feel better. In another situation, maybe we're focused on some future event. Perhaps we are worrying about some future experience that may go wrong. We worry that we will fail. We worry that we will be negatively judged by others. We fear we may get anxious or even have a panic attack. We fear we will make a fool of ourselves. When we notice our mind getting caught up in the doom and gloom future story, we can choose to gently guide it back to the present moment. Shifting our focus away from the negative story again and guiding it back to the present moment shifts our emotions, and we start to feel better again. When you first start to become more mindful and present, you will likely be surprised at just how much your mind wanders off. You may also be surprised that even though you guide your attention back to the present moment, in no time at all, you're back at the past or back at the future. This is normal. In that regard, our mind is no different than a puppy's mind. It's easily distracted. So whenever it wanders off, we gently and non-judgmentally guide it back to the present moment and refocus it. And it is okay that we do this over and over and over again. This action of noticing and refocusing is a skill, and we can learn how to do it more effectively. And like any skill, we can practice it in order to become better at it. One way of practicing this skill is to meditate. There are many types of meditation practices. There is a breath meditation where we simply focus on our breathing, our breath going in and out. There's a body scan meditation where we focus on various parts and regions of our body and what we're experiencing in our body. There's an emotions meditation where we note all the different emotions that we are experiencing at this very moment. There's a meditation whereby we focus on observing our thoughts, images, and inner dialogue and what's going on in our minds. These are just a few types of meditation practices, and there's many other types as well. All meditation practices teach us several skills, and the noticing and refocusing skill are two skills that we learn from all of the various types of meditation practices. So people always ask me, what type of meditation should I start with? I recommend that everyone start with the most basic of meditation practices, the breath meditation. It is a meditation where we sit quietly, close our eyes, or perhaps gaze at the floor in front of you, and we start beginning to observe our breath. You can focus on your abdomen rising and falling. You can focus on your chest moving up and down. You can focus on the air moving in and out of your nasal passages. Whatever suits you. Whenever you notice that your mind is no longer focused on your breath, well, you simply and gently guide it back, non-judgmentally, to your breath. You continue to do this over and over again for the rest of your practice. Even seasoned meditators are constantly challenged with maintaining their focus. Maintaining focus is just another word for concentration. The point of practicing is to get better. There is nothing to win and there's no goal to achieve. When we go to the gym and exercise, we do it to get fitter. We do not go to the gym so that we can win the gold medal in the next Olympics. So the more we practice our noticing and refocusing skills, the better we become. And we will experience an increase in our overall level of awareness and concentration. We can also consciously bring our mindfulness exercising into our everyday lives by refocusing on the present moment every time we notice our mind wandering off. Over the years, I have noticed that people have common questions or concerns about their mindfulness and meditation practices. So I've put together top 10 questions. Do I have to sit with my legs crossed, fingers clenched, and light some incense? No. Many people have a lot of rituals when they do their meditation practices. Sometimes I like to sit in front of the fireplace and light a candle. But it's not a necessary part of my practice. It's a nice part that gets me in the mood. The minute these rituals turn into mandatory requirements, I think they become a superstition, and I'm not about doing that. Question number 2. Do I need a gong? No. It's true, many guided meditations have a gong signifying the beginning and the end of the practice. And if you go to the YouTube channel, well, my meditations also have a gong in them. I simply use a gong as a nice way to signify the starting and the ending of the practice. That's all. Question number 3. What is the best time to meditate? Well, I like to meditate in the morning, but you can meditate anytime you like. I like getting the day off with a positive start, and so I meditate. Sometimes, if work is a bit challenging, I like to meditate after work, and that resets my evening, and I declare it my own. And then other people like to meditate before they go to bed. I don't mind that either. At the end of the day, maybe I do a gratitude meditation. It's all good. Anytime is good. Question number 4. How often should I meditate? Well, the science seems to indicate that regularity is the key. It's better to meditate for 5 minutes a day, every day, than one 35-minute session at the end of the week. So the daily practice, when you do it every day, also helps you remind yourself to bring mindfulness into your everyday life. And to me, that's really helpful. Question number 5. Is this stuff for real, or is this stuff just all fluff? Well, there's been a lot of study lately about mindfulness and meditation practices. Jon Kabat-Zinn started studying mindfulness and meditation back in the 1970s. And as you can see from this slide, starting in the early 2000s, we see an explosion of scientific studies published. Now, these are studies that looked at how mindfulness and meditation practices affect our minds, these are psychological studies, and how they affect our brains and bodies, and these are medical studies. And the evidence is overwhelming that meditation and mindful practices do have many, many benefits. If you want more information about the science behind mindfulness and meditation practices, I recommend going to the American Psychological Association's website. They have tons of information there, and it's at www.apa.org. Question number 6. I keep falling asleep when I meditate. Is this normal? Yes. And there's usually 2 types of reasons why you may fall asleep during your meditation practice. One is your body's telling you it needs more rest, and that's why you're falling asleep. The second reason is maybe you're out of balance. So meditation practice is really about the balance between focus and relaxation. And if you're too relaxed, you'll fall asleep. And maybe that's an opportunity to increase your focus. If you're too focused, well, maybe you see yourself tense up. And that's an indication that you need to add more relaxation. So just remember, it's a balance. Question number 7. My mind wanders too much. Meditation is not for me. Well, this is normal. And if you're like most people, your mind wanders an awful lot. The fact that you're having limited success in your mind, well, one, you're judging yourself, stop doing that. And two, you're beginning to learn how to become more focused and thus have more concentration. So keep at it. Starting over is okay, and you're just fine. Question number 8. I don't have time to meditate. Well, everyone has time to meditate. What you're really saying is that you don't quite believe in the benefits of it. So perhaps start small. Just do a 1-minute meditation every day and work your way up. And while you're doing your meditation practice, and whether it's 1 minute or 5 minutes or longer, at the end of the meditation practice, look for the joy that you've received while doing your practice. Acknowledge the fact that you got relaxed. Acknowledge the fact that you were able to catch yourself when your mind was wandering. Look for the positive elements, and that will spur you on to continue your practice. Question number 9. I'm unable to make a habit of practicing. Well, meditation teaches us to start over, and starting over is okay. So when you go for a few days with a successful practice, and then you forget to do it, or you get sidetracked in doing something else, that's okay. Start again. And finally, question number 10. I cannot sit still. My mind keeps racing. Well, meditation teaches us to just be with an experience. Notice it, observe it, and this allows time for gaining insight. The restlessness that you may be experiencing and the need to do something else may just be one of those automatic reactions, a reaction triggered from a story that you're caught up in. Can you just sit and observe that story? You just may learn something that helps you choose a different action or approach. Well, that's it for the top 10 questions, and that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. You can view more videos and listen to an extensive collection of guided meditations on my Optimistic Brain YouTube channel. If you like this channel, click subscribe down below. For more information about mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and optimistic reframing, please visit my website at www.optimisticbrain.com. And finally, if you want daily tips about how to live your life in a more guided and fulfilled way, well, please join my Optimistic Brain Facebook group.